Have you ever heard somebody or ever felt that there's nothing to draw? To me, I feel like that's a weird statement because there's always something to draw. I feel like that's just something an artist says when they become bored with their work itself. And I just find that kind of peculiar because art is limitless and you have so much you can do with it. For me, I don't like using the term art block when I feel this way because I don't believe in the term. I know, controversial or whatever you want to call it. I just think it's weird. I try to think critically of why I'm feeling this way. Am I bored with my artwork? Am I depressed? What's going on here? If I ever feel this way, I'll try to switch up what I'm doing. If I'm like using a certain medium a lot, I'll try to use something different. Recently, I'm really into painting. I used to be really into using my markers a couple months back, and before that, I was just all about color pencils. I feel like artists need to sit down and think about their artwork more. They need to be critical of themselves. I know people be like, "Oh, I'm my worst critic." But are you actively trying to improve on what you're doing? Are you actively trying to get out of your comfort zone? I know people be like, "Oh, my comfort zone is just drawing pretty girls, so I'll draw like a pretty boy instead." I feel like that's not that different. You're still doing portraits. Art is limitless. There's so many mediums and so many styles that you could chase after. And I'm not talking about like anime style and like realism. I'm talking about like abstract concepts. And I know I have a really hard time with expressing my emotions through my artwork. And I'm trying to be more abstract and surreal with what I'm doing. I do get caught up in trying to improve and doing lots of studies. So since I'm critical about it, I'll tend to be critical towards it with other artists. You know how you see flaws in yourself, and if someone does the same exact thing that you hate about yourself, like gets under your nerves? I guess that's my feelings towards it. And you can do anything with your art, anything. And I know it's weird to get those feelings out there in like your sort of weird dark place. No one's ever seen this part of me side out there, because I do have some sketchbooks where I draw like really abstract sort of concepts, and they're kind of like aliens, and I don't like showing people that sketchbook, so I'll just show them like, "Oh, look at this cute little guinea pig I'm doing, look at these realism studies I'm doing." And I'm trying to convey more of my sketches and like conceptual, I think that's how you say it, sort of pieces out there. For me, it's hard. I know for other people, they could just put it out there, and I really admire that. And I have this really bad fear of making art that isn't quote unquote good, that other people wouldn't necessarily like. And I think I learned this in high school, and I'm trying to unlearn it. And it's really hard, but you need to create art for yourself and create it for you. And I know there's a lot of people out there to be like, "You shouldn't draw this, you shouldn't draw that." And it's just cringy. Oh, I hate that word. I feel like that limits people. And art is supposed to make you feel free. I really admire artists who just draw what they want. I know I follow a lot of furry artists, even though what I do is far from the furry anthro sort of thing. I just really admire it because they do what they want. I know a lot of people call it cringe, but I think it's just absolutely incredible. People will be drawing sparkle dogs and all sorts of stuff, and they do it because they like it, because they love it, and I love that kind of passion, and I'm trying to put that out into my art. And when I get bogged down with this concept of there's nothing to draw, there is something to draw, there is something I want to do, maybe I'm just feeling uninspired, but there's always something to draw. Which is why I don't like drawing only when I'm quote unquote inspired, because inspiration can come from anything, and you can create art out of anything. So there's this quote, I forget who says it, but it goes, all artists have bad sketches in them, the good artists just get them out. And I feel like that's why I just want to create so much, so that I could create, and out of the hundreds of pieces out there, there will be something lovely that I would admire. Some people feel like they have to chase inspiration and always find something different, but I feel like it just comes to you, that it finds you. The more you create, the more you get your brain glowing, you get that creative juices flowing. And yes, there is such a thing as creative burnout, but if you don't use that part of your brain, then of course it's going to be harder to find it, to think of it. You just have to practice every day, and of course not every painting is going to be a masterpiece, but as long as you're actively trying, you're going to get there one day. It's not a race. If you're not liking what you're doing, just do something weird. There's nothing wrong with doing something weird. It's just like, say, listening to music. Once you get over, like, that little voice in your head, it just helps a lot. Like, you could make bad art, make weird art. I know, I used to be real, like, pretentious about what kind of music I listened to, and I'd be like, oh, no, I wouldn't listen to that. And now I just listen to whatever weird stuff I want. I started listening to this artist called Dandelion Hands, and I absolutely love him. And every person, not artist, should I say, that I show him to, they're like, oh, this is weird. Yeah, I know. And I love it. Don't get wrapped up in this sort of bubble of going, oh, well, this doesn't fit my style. Fuck style. Do what you want. Do what you feel like you would enjoy. It only becomes a chore when you make it something you dread. Like, I recently did a still life, and I know people think still lives, oh, they're so boring. It's just pictures of, like, fruits. I could just look at a bowl of fruit if I wanted that. No, that's if you make it boring. I did a still life of, like, my sex toys, of, like, my butt plugs. That was fun. That was something different to do, and it wasn't something I would necessarily have created. Like, why would I draw a butt plug if I'm, what's the word, labeling myself as a portrait artist? No, I'm an artist. I'll do what I want. I know when I started taking art seriously, I wanted to be an animator, so I was drawing a lot of My Little Pony and sort of cutesy stuff like that, because that was what was in. Don't label yourself. Don't weigh yourself down with certain rules that you have to do in order to be this type of artist. You're an artist. You do what you want. You could paint dead bodies. You could paint flowers. You could do whatever you want. You are a creative person. You'll put your style into it. I feel like you don't develop a style. You create it. It's in every single thing you do. It's like your handwriting. So if you ever feel like, oh, I don't know what to draw, do something different. If you're a cartoonist, do something abstract. If you're into realism, you could try doing some cartoons. You could do some surrealism. Just don't label yourself. Labels, I feel like, hinder you as an artist. So are you really out of ideas to draw? Or are you just limiting yourself and labeling yourself into this one style when you could be out there doing something different and something weird? That's just one thing I think of when I feel like I can't draw, or there's nothing to draw, should I say. I know there's like a few more common reasons what would be hindering me from creating art or making me feel like I can't create art, and those could be other topical videos and discussion videos. So what do you guys feel like? you guys agree with me. I know this is all my opinion. Me personally, just trying to branch out there and do something different. And with that, I want to do more topical videos and start more of a discussion. So if there's anything you guys would like to see me talk about, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me ideas and stuff for videos, because your input I really value, and if you would like to see me talk about something, I would enjoy talking about it. Which is kind of the reason why I chose to do just pages of what I've been sketching lately, because I feel like I could be weird and creative in my sketchbook, and I don't feel afraid to actually get in there and do something different. And I know I totally ruined this skull by painting it. I'm trying to use my watercolor pencils more and get a hang of them. So possibly in the next month I'll be doing art supply review on these watercolor pencils, because I know I've had some trouble with just right away reviewing supplies and not actually getting a hang of them. So I'm going to try and use these pencils for a couple of weeks and see what I like about them. Well, I do appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. I do have a Patreon if you want to have early access to my videos. My tier starting at just $1 a month. I also have other social media platforms, which of course are free. So you can follow me at Instagram at Cassie.Frass, Facebook at CassieFrassArt, Twitter at CassieFrassies. I'll see you later, Gators.